Oh, after many technological difficulties, we're finally getting this going. It took about an hour and 15 minutes, but it's okay. This is take two and a lot nicer production value than the first video, at least in my opinion. No, it's slightly better. Um, but ladies and gentlemen, I have been looking forward to this, and for a while, it's like debating who the first person like I would have on would be. And about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we already had like a date planned to go and get food. Um, and I mean, it was just staring me right in the face. And I was hanging out with Desiree, my girlfriend, and she was like, "Why would you not just have like Nate on? Like his testimony is incredible." I'm like, duh, like that's the greatest idea ever. And so after that, I hit him up and talked to him about it while we were getting food, and he prayed about it and thought, this was a good idea to come on and share um, his testimony and what the Lord has listed him from. And I just couldn't be more excited for it. So without further ado, this is Nate Newman. If you want to.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Nate. It's pleasure to be here, man.
Yeah. So him and I, so we met through our basement group on Mondays. And that, for anyone, obviously, most people who are listening to this most likely have no idea what we're talking about. It's kind of like just our group little Bible study that we have on Mondays. So that's where we met. And I heard Nate's testimony before at like a Ethos YA night, which is kind of like a worship / study night. And man, y'all, like I have never been more emotionally like moved, other than Desiree's testimony too, which that'll come in the future. But like it just is so impactful and so relatable, and just hearing what the Lord has lifted this guy from is amazing, and just obviously a testament, to the power of God. And so before getting into it as well, like I kind of want to get into a little background of the name of the podcast and why it's called Left at the Altar. I mean, this specifically is going to be a podcast where testimonies are shared about what the Lord has lifted us from, how we've came into relationship with God, and what it is like now, like what is the difference in our lives now that we are found in Jesus. And so Left at the Altar is exactly what the name states. I mean, every dirt and grime, past mistake, regret, I mean, that is what a testimony is us at the lowest point and leaving it all in God's hands, leaving it at the altar. So that's where I felt God put it on my heart that is what the name of the podcast should be. And I think that it is a very oversaturated place, but I don't think a lot of people are just raw, uncut, sharing, every nook and cranny of their past and their testimony. So I think that this is a great way for people to get to know the Lord in its most vulnerable and weak state through us. And I think the greatest tool that God has given us is our testimony, to not only evangelize, but to relate to other people and be like, listen, like we've been through it. You're not alone in whatever you're going through. And the thing is, it's endless. Like everybody who has come into relationship with Christ has a testimony in one way or another, and every walk is unique. So I'm very excited for it. And I know it's been a couple weeks, but I have a lot more guests planned to have on. So hopefully these will come out a little more frequently. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to break it down in prayer before we get into it, and then we'll just kind of let Nate take the wheel on this. So, all right. So, dear Lord, God, it is a privilege and just an honor, Lord, to be able to be in this space, to have this opportunity to sit here with Nate, a brother in Christ, and just hear what you have lifted him from, God, what you have pulled him from in his past, Lord. And I thank you for blessing my life with his life, Lord, and letting his faith be something that I could lean on in times where I was struggling and frustrating. I thank you for the wisdom that you have blessed him with, God, and I just pray for complete vulnerability, not putting up any front, because we know that you know the full truth, Lord, and that just as Paul writes in Corinthians, Second Corinthians, Lord, to boast in our weakness, God, because that is where your strength is made perfect. And so, Lord, I just pray that we come to you fully vulnerable, fully open, um, knowing that our worth lies in you and you alone. And we welcome, all criticism, all, you know, backlash, all, any sort of negativity that may come from this, God, because we know that that isn't where the opinion of ourselves comes from. It is from you and you alone. Lord, so I thank you for the life of Nate. I pray, Holy Spirit, that you guide this conversation. We invite you into this space, Lord. And it's in Jesus' name that we pray all these things. We love you and we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So if you want to, obviously, you can take it how you want to go. If you want to just kind of introduce yourself and just hop right into it, I'll let
Okay.
you take the wheel, brother.
Yeah. Wow. These things are always hard to like figure out where to start.
Mm-hmm.
But just a quick get to know me before I get into it. I think well, obviously my name's Nate. Um I've been following the Lord for almost 2 years now. Um it's been a crazy ride, probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, but one of the most fulfilling things that I feel like I've had in my life ever. Like honestly, it's changed me dramatically. And I mean, just to see where I'm at now is ultimately a testament to him,
Mm-hmm.
and his power and his all the things that he's able to do within us. But I guess I'll just start at the beginning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so growing up, I primarily lived in like a single mom home. Um, I had a stepdad, for a while. And, but, like, I feel like I always kinda knew that he wasn't my dad, um, so that was kind of like always a point of contention between me and him. Um, I mean, just quick disclaimer, like, I still love him to death. His family has been great for me, and still I consider them family to this day. But, when I was a child, it was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's side of the family is, Baptist primarily, some are Catholics.
Special guest appearance from Georgia the dog. Um, perfect timing to want to play with a toy. It's comedy.
That's great.
Yeah, just take her outside. Appreciate it. We can cut this anyway.
Yeah.
You don't need both of them. That's
Well,
hilarious.
um, cool.
Yeah, you're good to keep going.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, my mom's side of the family is like primarily like old school Baptist, like very traditional
Yeah.
in that sense. You know, just like I don't know, like what most people would call like boring church. You know, it's very traditional, very like they sing the hymnal books, like sing from the hymnal books, and they, you know, at least from my perspective when I was a kid, it was just like the teachings were just like whatever. It's not like I was. I mean, I don't know. I was a kid, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and but it was always just something that I took as like this is what we do. Like
Yeah.
this is just part of life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like really gleaned from it, um nothing transformative or really that grasped me at the time. Um, you know, and I would go to like vacation Bible school and Awana and stuff like that in the summers every once in a while, but it was just something fun to do with some of the friends from around the neighborhood that I knew. Um, but yeah, like so religion was never like really a big part of my life. It was just something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in school and stuff like that, I was kind of bullied, kind of picked on a little bit, like as most kids are.
Yeah.
But it I've always been someone that like feels emotions like really deeply, really big. So, I mean, that kind of just like hit hard and something I've been struggling with for most of my life, really. Just like the how people view me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is like a big thing. So I would probably like categorize that as just like an identity. issue, you know?
Mhm.
I was k I don't even know what the triggering event was specifically, but I do know that I was sexually activated, at a very young age, was introduced to pornography at a very young age, and that kind of, um it's just been, like, a big, quote, unquote, "secret" that I've been, like, carrying, for a long, long time.
Mhm.
Um, it made me feel good, you know? It was something that could give me pleasure when everything else around me wasn't so great, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I did struggle for a long time with that and with knowing that I don't have a dad, you know?
Mhm.
Every boy needs a father, and
Mhm.
that's something that I really didn't have, like, outside of my mom's ex-husband or, um, boyfriends, you know, stuff
Mhm.
like that, but it's like, that was something really
Yeah.
big for me. Well, kind of fast forward, till I believe I was 12. Yeah, 12 years old. I, came home from school. Mom was at work, like I said. I would just, get myself back and forth to school while she was working. And I checked the mailbox one day and I found a letter from this man named Tony, and it was addressed to me. And I'm like, who's this?
Mhm.
Kind of thing. So my mom got home. I kind of, I didn't read it or anything, but I asked her who it was. And after she read the letter and stuff like that, she came back to me and was like, "Well, Tony's your dad." And she let me read the letter and let me think about it for a little bit. And, "Do you want to meet him?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. Would love to meet him." And dude, when I tell you, like, my dad was like, in my eyes, the coolest man alive when I met him. Like, dude pulled up in a freaking old school Firebird, leather jacket,
That's
slick back
sick.
hair, dude.
Yeah.
He was like so cool.
Mm.
And it was probably like, when I think back on it, it was probably one of the silliest things that me and my dad could have done, but, like, as a 12-year-old boy, it was, like, probably the most gripping thing. He took me to an arcade, and I don't know if you remember, like, those, like, arcade games that have, like, 4 players. You get, like,
Mhm.
2 or 3 buttons and a joystick. It was, like, I don't know, like a wizard, an archer,
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. Street
barbarian,
Fighter, all that.
something like that, but it was like a story mode game,
Mm.
and he, like, dropped, like, $20 on this game, dude, and we sat there and we played until we beat it. Like, it was crazy. Like, I'd never done that before,
That's
still have
awesome.
never done that before, like,
Mhm.
since then, but it was just, like, something super cool. It took me, like, Burger King or something like that. Uh, super cool. But, ultimately what something I forgot to say, like, ultimately my dad used to not be a great guy.
Mm.
That was part of the reason why he wasn't in my life. My mom took me away from him, to protect me.
Mhm.
And my dad will attest to that too. Like, he probably didn't agree with the way my mom handled it, and I kind of dealt with that too myself. But at the same time, it's like she was doing what she thought was best for me, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but what kind of led him back into my life was he got right with God. He gave his life to Jesus and was a pastor of, or an associate pastor of a Pentecostal church,
Mm.
and very different from what I was used to.
Yeah.
From, like I said, my mom and them are like Baptists and Catholics, so seeing Pentecostal church was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think. Um, but still, it was like, now after some time with my dad, and I decided to move in with him and try to, like, have that, have him in my life and, like, learn from him. I still, like, looked at church and God as, like, this big scary thing. Like,
Mhm.
nothing against Pentecostals or anything like that. I have a lot of Pentecostal friends still to this day. Like,
Mhm.
they're very much led by the Spirit, but I feel like a lot, or at least in the past, a lot of their preaching is fire and brimstone. It's like,
Mhm.
as a teenage boy that has no inclination of who God really is.
Mhm.
And what I hear every week or every other week is like, I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not what I need. Like, when I
Yeah.
was praying, or, even when I gave my life to Christ, as a teenager, I was like scared.
Yeah.
I did it out of fear. I didn't do it out of love or this, like, deep pulling, or,
Mhm.
I was very confused
Yeah.
with that. And And also, like, with being a PK, being a pastor's kid, it's like, I have this, like, gold standard,
Yeah, expectation.
yeah, like, I need
Yeah.
to be the best I can be, and if
Mhm.
I messed up, it's, like, magnified, so
Yeah.
my dad, was harder on me than most of his kids, and I took that kinda personally.
Mhm.
Um, but, it's like, we did the thing, like, I kinda ran production for him and stuff like that in the church, and was, like, a big, like, advocate for, like, the youth group, and went to church camp and all the things, man. Like,
Mm.
I was really trying, to, like, lean into the Lord and understand, like, what was going on.
Yeah.
Um, but there was, like, this moment, and I think it was probably beginning of senior year, maybe the end of my junior year. There was an event that happened. I won't go into the details because it's kind of personal.
Mm.
That happened between, like, with my dad and my stepmom, and it just, like, affected them very deeply, um, to the point where, ultimately they decided to leave the church.
Mm.
Um, and me being who I am and, like, still kind of being confused, not fully understanding, like, who God is and, what he does for us, I took kind of took that personally too. I was like, here's this man that has following the Lord closely, like, who loves the Lord more than any man that I know, um, was doing everything quote unquote right, and stuff like that. And he just gives it up. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? Like, how can someone just leave something that meant so dear to them?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was a teenager, I didn't know all the details. I just
Mhm.
saw it from the outside looking in and
Yeah.
gleaned my own um, you know, conclusion from that.
Mhm.
And that really tore me up and ultimately led me to giving up on God altogether. So I mean, from that, I really didn't. I was kind of lost. I didn't know what to do with myself. Didn't have any like aspirations to go to college outside of like some dreams. So like I wanted to be a veterinarian, but like I didn't. My family wasn't well off. We didn't
Mhm.
really have the money to send me to college and stuff like that. So it's like I don't know what to do. Well, one day I was at lunch and this army recruiter came up to me and was like, "Hey, what are you doing after school?" I'm like,
It's like, how many pull-ups can you do?
"Yeah." It was they were always doing like stupid challenges and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
I
I
remember
think
that.
I went up to like get like a keychain or something like that.
Mhm.
The conversation started. It was just like, "What are your plans after school?" And I'm like, I don't really have any." He's like, "You're going to college?" I was like, I would like to, but I don't really know how to do that."
Mhm.
And he's like, "Well, the army will, pay for your
Yeah.
college and like you can do, travel the world." Like he made it seem so
Oh, yeah.
so
Yep.
luxurious.
They're great at selling. They're
They
good
really are.
marketers.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was this like 17-year-old kid. I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's do it."
Mhm.
So but being a 17-year-old kid to get in the army, you gotta like have your parents sign off and stuff like that. And Um, me and my mom weren't on the best terms. Like we had some like tiff going on
Mhm.
between us. I was kind of a troubled kid, like
Yeah.
uh butted heads with my parents quite a bit. Um, but when, I decided I wanted to join the military, he was like, I gotta get my mom's signature.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, I can't go infantry because that was like originally where I'm just gonna go. I'm just
Mhm.
go full infantry. I don't care about nothing. I just wanted to get out, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like my mom won't sign off if I'm going infantry. She doesn't want me in the battle, kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because at the time we were still in Afghanistan,
Yeah.
and things were still popping off pretty hard. So I was like, well, I'll be a mechanic. My dad's a mechanic, so I mean, let's just follow the family business kind of
Yeah.
thing. Well, so that ultimately, got my parents to sign off. My dad was full for it, 100%. Did not like have any questions. Like, this is what you want to do? Yeah, cool, let's
Mhm.
go. Um, so yeah, I mean, like ultimately got my mom to sign the paperwork. I was like, don't worry, I'm a mechanic. I'm not gonna see any bad, or I'm not gonna see the war,
Mm.
kind of stuff. We'll talk about a little bit later. But
Yeah.
so like 2 weeks after I graduated high school, I'm like in Fort Leonard Wood, basic training, culture shock from hell, like like dude, it was crazy. Like at the time, drill sergeants just screaming at you, kind of stuff like that.
Mhm.
A whole mess, dude. But like it definitely did shape me, like gave me discipline and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I'm super grateful for it. But yeah, dude, it's like I stayed in Fort Leonard Wood my whole career in the military, which is in Missouri for those of you who don't know.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, so I finished basic training, AIT. Learned a lot, tried to do the best I could as far as like being a mechanic. And then it was like maybe 6 months later, we get pulled into formation one day, and my platoon sergeant at the time was like, "Hey, our sister company, the 55th, lost 3 guys. They need people to replace them. Who wants to go to Afghanistan?"
mm.
I'm like, I look at my best friend at the time. He's like, "If you raise your hand, I'll raise mine." I was like, "All right, shoot, let's go." So I raised my
That's crazy.
So I was
That's
like, "Screw
nuts.
it, dude. Let's go to Afghanistan." And
Mm,
lo and behold, me and him got chosen with a couple other guys from a couple other companies, you know. Um, so that was crazy. 18-year-old. I think I actually just turned 19 like right before they sent me off. So like 19-year-old kid, boom, had to hit the ground running like right
mm,
in the middle of a battle zone. Like did not know what was going on, like what I got myself into at all.
mhm,
Um, but it was devastating. There was we were attached to the combat engineers, which are like, for those that don't know what they do, they're the crazy guys that decide, hey, let's go look for these IEDs and then get rid of them.
mhm.
So the infantry and whoever else is running missions doesn't get blown up, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. And me as a mechanic, basically when I'm downrange is like I fix all the vehicles, I keep them up to speed kind of thing. And when I'm out on mission, if someone gets blown up, I'm the guy that pulls my truck around, recovers them, takes them back to FOB to get fixed.
Right.
So it's like basically I didn't do my job unless somebody got blown up.
Mm,
So luckily I will say nobody while I was there on my tour got hurt or injured like
mm,
severely. We did have a couple guys get hit. Well, we had quite a few guys get hit
mhm,
by IEDs and stuff like that, but luckily nobody got hurt. But just like my time in Afghanistan, like seeing so many explosions, like firefights going on, kind of stuff like that. I just got numb to
mhm.
everything, you know.
Yeah.
There would be like rocket attacks. We had like a fuel station get hit by a mortar.
Oh
Like maybe like
gosh.
four, I think like approximately like 4 blocks away from my motor pool, like where I was working. It was
Wow.
crazy. Just a bunch of stuff happened, dude. Um, yeah, I don't know, just a really hard time, for a young guy, not really understanding the world,
Mm,
um, and really didn't, I now realize, I didn't have any faith. So it was just
mhm.
like what was in front of me was there.
Yeah.
This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I got. So here I am. And when we came back, a lot of guys in the military, like it's very looked down upon. There's still a stigma on mental health,
Mm,
but even more so in the military. Um,
yeah.
I think from what I've heard, it's gotten a little bit better, but back in like 2012, if you have mental health issues, you're done for, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, so we kept it quiet, don't tell them anything. Everybody was just like, just lie. Just tell
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
you're fine. We're good. Well, what that turned into was I'm okay, but I'm going to drink from the time I wake up to the time we go to sleep.
Mm,
Um, unless of course I'm at work.
mm,
But like, we're just drinking all the time to cope and mask and have fun, quote unquote.
mhm.
But yeah, dude, it was just wild. For me as an underage kid, just like people just like pushing alcohol on you and just
Yeah.
like this is how you cope, man. This is what you need to do. So I'm like, that's kind of the lifestyle that I adopted. I just began to drink and party and whatever else I could, get away with in the military.
Mm,
And then mess around with girls and did the whole nine, man. I was just
yeah.
wilding out. Um But again, like, just kinda the whole time just feeling, like, empty, feeling dealing with depression and PTSD and all the things that come from,
Mhm.
as a side effect of war, and,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I eventually did a second tour, probably about a year and a half later. Um, Luckily, we weren't, like, in a heavy war zone or anything like that the second tour, but,
Yeah.
um, I was supposed to get out of the military, Honestly, my contract was up. I was planning on getting out, but at the time I was like a leader. I was a squad leader. I
Mm,
had like 4 or 5 guys under me and stuff like that, and most of them are just like brand new guys,
mm,
like straight like my position, my first tour, and we didn't know where we were going. I just know we're going to Afghanistan, so I'm like, well, I'm not letting y'all go by
yeah,
yourself,
you
at least,
definitely felt some obligation there.
right? So I re-upped and I'm going to Afghanistan again, and you know, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was, young kid, didn't really know what love was, I guess.
Hmm.
And I was just like, yo, I'll uh I'll marry you if you're faithful to me while I'm in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
Um, and as far as I know she was, and I mean I still believe that she was. But that's neither here nor there.
yeah.
Um,
Mm,
well my second tour while I was there, luckily it wasn't like a combat related injury, but my ankle got wrapped around a 4x4.
mm,
And I went to the hospital and they basically were just like, you know, you destroyed all your ligaments and tendons in your ankle. Like it's gonna
mm.
take like 4 to 6 weeks for you to heal up, and then you got the rehab and stuff like that.
Wow.
Um, and that ultimately like killed me. It's like here I am, like this leader, this guy that everybody looks up to, has got a bunch of responsibility, and I get hurt on some freak accident in the motor pool, and I'm just like down and out, you know. So I feel like there was like some heavy depression at the time. That definitely hit that, and ultimately like kind of turned into like a psychotic break, is what they called it.
Mm,
I started like hallucinating a little bit, had some delusion. Um, but luckily it didn't like lead to me doing anything crazy. It freaked me out a little bit, and I sought help, and they put me on some antipsychotics and sent me on my way.
yeah.
So I did what I needed to do. I rehabbed. I pushed through. I got myself healthy so I could pass a PT test so I could go home. And same kind of ordeal as first time. Don't if you tell them that you're dealing with mental health, then they're not gonna let you go home on leave. They're gonna hold you, all this stuff.
Mm,
So I'm like, screw it, I'm fine. Didn't tell them about the psychosis in Afghanistan. Didn't really tell them about the depression or anything like that.
mm-hmm.
Um, but like my ankle was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I went home, partied, lived it up, and kept doing that. Eventually, got married to my girlfriend. Um, you know, a deal's a deal kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And not to like make light of it, like I loved her, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's definitely emotions there that you know led me to believe that was the best decision to make. And but yeah, it's just like we were both not great. Like as
Mm,
far as like mental health wise, we both had
yeah.
issues. We both dealt with a lot. And but that kind of just like fed into a lot of what I was dealing with. Maybe like 4 or 5, maybe 6 months after I was home, um, from my second tour, we're on a run, and like we're doing PT, like we run all the time. Like something that we typically do is like if there's a pothole or something like in the road, hey, there's something coming up, like so people can run around or jump
Yeah.
over, whatever you got to do. Well, I didn't see that. Nobody said anything to me, and I freaking plopped right into this
Oh
pothole.
gosh.
Same ankle that I messed up in Afghanistan went right into this pothole. So, went to the hospital, the same injury, everything's destroyed, everything's loose. It was just bad. Like I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. So I, went and saw a surgeon. Just like he basically was able to grab my foot and like the crate, like it was disjointed and everything. It was wild. Um, got surgery to get fixed up and stuff like that, and they gave me painkillers, obviously.
Hmm.
And that kind of like already messing with alcohol and everything else. It's like that was just another thing now.
Yeah, just stacking it.
Yeah. So now I developed, and over time I developed addiction to narcotics and
Mm,
painkillers. And just like as time went on, just like whatever I get my hands on, there was guys in the military that were selling their pills because they didn't need them, but needed some extra money. 'Cause you don't make a lot. in the military.
Yeah.
People have that misconception. We really don't.
Mhm.
Um, so I was just like buying pills. Like that was something I could get away with because I already had a script. So it's like they're not gonna test me or anything like
Yeah.
that. Um, but it got so bad, dude. Like I was like taking morphine. I
Mm.
was just like numb and numbed out.
Yeah.
And at the same time, my ankle wasn't like necessarily getting a whole lot better, and my mental health did take a toll to where I was contemplating suicide. Um, I got like really, really, really depressed. I concocted a plan. I was like, well, if I just take this whole bottle, I'll be done.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I had the like the urge to call my dad and just be like, hey, you know, tell him goodbye kind of thing.
Mm.
The conversation didn't necessarily go like that. He kind of had a inclination that something was wrong.
Mm.
So he talked to me a little bit and kind of talked me down to where like I was like, okay, I'll go turn myself in, get the help that I need. And that kind of just, I got locked up in the psych ward for about a week. They put me on antipsychotics and the whole nine. And basically, once my platoon found out what was going on, they stripped me of my leadership role. They told me I couldn't touch weapons anymore.
Mm.
Basically, I'm a mechanic. You come, do your work on the vehicles, go home. That's it. Like I couldn't do PT either, so it's like that's all I was good for. Um, I got into like the mental health stuff. Started seeing like a nurse practitioner to get on some meds to hopefully help me.
Mm.
Uh, the military does not handle like mental health well at all. They
Yeah.
just basically, here's a script, try this. If it doesn't work, we'll up the dose,
Yeah.
max you out a little bit. No, so it's not working. Okay, well let's get you off this, put you on this one, max your dose.
Mm.
And I went through that like cycle for like a year.
Mm.
Before I'm like, look, nothing's working. This is not helping me. Um, I'm still like I just feel like a zombie and I
Mm.
can't do anything and I'm still depressed because I can't do anything other than work. And I was just like I was lost. And and the army ultimately was just like, well, you're not fit to be a soldier anymore. See ya. We'll medically retire you.
Mm.
Um, perk is you get a paycheck for the rest of your life, but you can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
So it was like I invested 5.5 years into this, like trying to become the best soldier I could, do what I wanted to do, and I just, lost my identity again. I'm just lost.
Yeah.
Um, me and my wife at the time had a daughter, right before I got out. So here I am, struggling with mental health, a new dad, don't know the first thing about taking care of a kid.
Yeah.
Um, Now I'm out of the military, living with my mom, and things are just hard, dude. Like I don't know who I am. I don't know what to do. Um, so it's just like try to like get back into work as a mechanic. Stuff didn't work out with that. Um, and I will say it's like I definitely don't ever want to be a mechanic again.
Mm.
That's just not something that's I feel like is for me.
Yeah.
But I will say like my behavioral issues kind of led me from jumping from job to job
Mm.
in that. Uh, and I was still like dealing with my pill addiction. I was smoking weed now that I was out of the military. It's like who cares? I was still drinking a lot. And that just kind of destroyed my marriage.
Mm.
We ultimately got divorced like in 2017. Um, and then it was just like now I'm alone with all my problems and um dealing with all kinds of like legal stuff with the divorce. We're fighting. Um, so I'm like screw it. I was at the party scene. I went, I was drinking and I got like real close friends with a lot of like weed dealers and
Mm.
got into coke a little bit, just like taking ecstasy, everything, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever I could get a hold of, I was on it, you know, and nothing, helped. But I just kept doing it. It's all I knew to do.
Mm.
And then until like one day, it's probably like a few months later, dude, I had this huge rager. Everybody's gone. I'm sitting in my chair in my living room and I'm like, ODing. I feel like my heart's pounding out my chest. I'm like starting to see like a bright light, like I'm fading. And all I remember doing was hitting my knees and calling out to God, like, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like, this is what I know to do. Like, I'm sorry, just like take me,
Yeah.
you know? But like, and that was kind of like the big moment for me that kind of sparked my curiosity in God
Mm.
a little bit.
Yeah.
'Cause it was like, I'm doing all this stuff that I know I probably shouldn't be doing. But I'm like trying to make myself feel all right. But as soon as I'm getting ready to, well, from what I thought, die, I dropped on my knees and called out to God.
Mm.
It's like something within me like knew,
Yeah.
you know? And I mean I will say like yes, I called my dad like right after that, told him the whole story and he told me he was proud of me, kind of thing and but I still didn't know what that looked like.
Mhm.
Like yeah, okay, I'm like cool, but I wasn't like, excuse me, ready to go to like church or anything or
Mhm.
even really step back into that realm. But something within me, like I said, was just like yearning for
Yeah.
God. And
Yeah.
lo and behold, it was like as soon as that day, like as soon as that happened, like my roommate started acting like real crazy at the time. Like he just like threw all my stuff out in the yard, like crazy stuff, dude. Like
Mm.
I mean, outrageous things started happening in my life. Basically everything that I was surrounding myself with exploded.
Mm.
And I mean, thankfully for me, I have my mom that could bring me in and let me live with her for a little bit, and that was when I think once I started living with my mom, I started reading the Bible a little bit,
Yeah.
started trying to like lean into things a little bit here and there, just to like try to get an understanding,
Mm.
and also get clean because like after I OD'd, I'm like, there, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm.
Can't be risking that.
Mm.
Um, so after like getting clean and stuff like that, I decided I'm gonna go to college. I got the GI Bill now, so why not? Um, I started going to Columbus State for veterinary science because, like I said earlier, I wanted to be a veterinarian. Um, and did that for a couple years and met this girl at school who kind of reeled me in, dude. She was beautiful.
Mhm.
I I really really liked her and stuff like that. And there was just a bunch of stuff about her that I didn't know at the time that because I liked her so much, I kind of just like let stuff
Yeah,
slide.
put on the blinders a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah.
She was smoking weed, so that kind of just like slipped back into my life. And um, she was like being fully transparent. She was a stripper.
Mhm.
Um, but I was like, she's doing it to pay for college. Like that's what people do. You got to
Yeah.
do what you got to do. You got to hustle. You got to make things work. And I'm not like a super jealous person, so it wasn't like a big deal for me. As long as she's coming home to me, I'm fine.
Mhm.
But man, after a while, that really started taking a toll on me, and pills started getting introduced again.
Mm.
Just like basically everything that I had like promised or tried to run away from through this relationship with this girl had just like creeped back in. And
Yeah.
then a couple years later, I found myself right back in it, knee deep in addiction. Um, I'm dealing with a crazy relationship that like exploded horribly, and my mental health was probably like just as bad as it was
Mm.
before while I was in the military. And yeah, dude, I don't know what it was. There was I mean, I believe that it was like God like trying to like nudge me, in the right direction, even though I wasn't necessarily cognizant of like who he is or what he was
Yeah.
doing or whatever.
Mhm.
But he like kind of like for whatever reason I knew I needed to change course.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of like psychology came to mind and I was already dealing with mental health, so it's like psychology, I can help others dealing with what I'm dealing with, but also learn a lot more about myself, um, kind of thing. So I switched over to psychology and graduated from Columbus State with the associates in psychology, and then luckily my parents were moving, so we got out of that area. So that kind of like split me and this girl up. And so I was able to get away from her, kind of like got clean again. Kind of thing. I was still smoking weed, stuff like that, like kind of behind my parents' back. They didn't really know
Yeah.
what was going on, but still just trying to figure stuff out, dude, you know.
Mhm.
I started going to Otterbein for psychology in Westerville. And yeah, dude, I just like hitting the books, trying to do that. And
Mhm.
um it was a nice time in my life for real. I mean, I was going to school full time, and with the way the GI Bill works is like they pay for my school and they paid me to go to school, and I'm
Yeah.
getting retirement. I was rolling, dude. I was
Yeah.
making bank. I was having a great time. Um, and kind of like met some barbers through like some bars that I was going through and or going to, sorry. And then started just like getting into that group, started hanging out with all them. They were out at the bars like seemingly every night,
Mm.
like kind of, which is what I was doing. They're at like high class clubs, like getting VIP service, all like what, I'm looking at them like this is fantastic. Like let me
Mhm.
get in on this. So I started rolling with them for quite a bit, and eventually they, you know, convinced me to come start working with them. So I started working at the barbershop with them, and I mean, it was a good time. I mean, I made decent money. Still going to school, but still getting to like live the luxurious
Mhm.
life that I thought that I wanted to live. Um, and that lasted maybe about a year, um, until like I graduated or was getting ready to graduate.
Mm.
Um, like graduation's coming up, my grades are kind of slipping, so it's like I kind of left working with them, but still hung out with them, and graduated from Otterbein, got my bachelor's. It's like one of the greatest achievements, I've done. So I was like
Yeah.
real high point. And all my friends were like, well, we got to go out and celebrate. So I'm like, let's do it. So we went to this really nice club, got a VIP table, bottle service, the whole nine. It was a great night, and I was just like, got drunk out of my mind. Um, I had a girl on, like, I had a girl on my waist, and I was just like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I decided to drive home,
Mm.
and made it home. I I can only describe by like God's divine protection, dude, because I was obliterated.
Mm.
But somehow I made it the 25-30 minute drive home and
Yeah.
made it to my driveway unscathed,
Mm.
and I'm just sitting in my driveway smoking a cigarette. I think I was texting this girl, and two cop cars pulled up behind me.
Mm.
Said that some off duty officer had like seen me driving and called me in for, swerving or whatever. So they tailed me home and asked me what I was doing, I was like, well, told them the whole story. Like I've always had like a big, um, you tell the cops the truth.
Yeah.
The
100%.
least they can do is like, you're going to get in trouble, but they're not going to like pin
Mhm.
anything else on you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I told them everything. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty tore up. Like I drank quite a bit.
Yeah.
But like, I'm home. Like I'm here. Like, what's the big deal?
Mm.
Nobody got hurt. I didn't hit anybody. Just let me go to bed. And they're like, well, we got to arrest you. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. So I got arrested. Took me in, fingerprinted me, everything like that. And it was just like, it was just crazy too, because they arrested me. They did everything. They didn't lock me up. They took me back home.
Mm.
They said, all right, it's like, you'll get your papers or whatever that, you're supposed to get once everything comes back. And, we'll go from there. So I kind of hit it for a little bit, maybe a couple days before it like really started weighing on me. And
Mhm.
I think I did get the papers in the mail, and basically they were charging me with the OVI. Uh, they were, trying to pin me with like everything. Like
Mm.
my blood alcohol level was through the roof. So it's like I'm looking at a felony.
Mm.
And if you don't know, if you're trying to be a counselor or a therapist or any kind of like mental health services, if you got a felony, you
Yeah.
can't get licensed.
Mhm.
So it's like, here I am again. everything that I've worked for, it's gonna get destroyed.
Mm.
Ultimate, like, biggest pit I've ever been in. Like, I'm like, this is the third time in my life that everything that I've worked for is about to just crumble.
Mm.
And May 9th, 4 days after the incident, uh, I'm just in my garage smoking a cigarette, and I just started praying for the first time in years.
Mm.
And I was like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't even know who I am. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, and it was probably one of the most vulnerable prayers I've ever prayed in my life.
Mm.
And all I heard, and it may not have been fully audible, but it felt like it was audible. Like, I heard it clear as day. It was just, give your life to me. I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna do that. I was like, so I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I gave him my yes, and I'm like, I'll do this, but this cannot be my father's faith. This should not be my mom's faith. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be because I want to follow you and because you want me to follow you. And from that day, like, God has done so many things through me and in me, and it's just like I had to get a lawyer, right,
Mm-hmm.
to deal with this case. And I'm like praying, like, God, just like help me find who I need to be like dealing with. And I only called one lawyer. And this guy popped up on my page, and I called him, and he's like, yeah, this is a very routine case. Some of your information, all that stuff. And he handled it, and everything was like going good. Everything looked good. Like, I was still facing a felony, but at least like he could like ease it a little bit.
Yeah.
Until like the day I went into court. I walk in there, and I get called up, and I'm standing in front of the judge, and him and the lawyer started like just chatting, like, how's your family doing? Like, how, like, is your daughter like doing like this and that and the other? Like, they're friends, dude. Like, like they're best, like
They're
they're
just
best,
chopping
they're
it
just
up
chopping
prior
up.
to the
Yeah,
case.
they're like,
That's
they know
amazing.
each other. They're like cool. And the judge just looks at me. He's like, you're lucky you got a really good lawyer. He got your sentence reduced, and it's like a misdemeanor. You're going to do a year of probation,
Wow.
pay the fines, and you're good.
That's crazy.
I'm like, what?
That's amazing, dude.
And
Oh
I'm
my
just like,
gosh.
thank you, Lord. Like
Yeah.
that, I was facing like a
Mm-hmm.
career ending thing. And you just like, yeah, I'm still going to face the punishment. And I happily did that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you saved it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that was like the first big moment that God was just like, showed me what he can do. And from there, it was like, um, well, I don't know where to start. It's like, I got that figured out. Like, what do I need to get in church. I need to start reading the Bible. I need to like do everything that, I know that a Christian should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, from the barbershop, I knew this one girl that was like the only outwardly spoken Christian that I knew.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy, like how God works, man. It's just, she called me or texted me, was like, hey, do you know how to change a tire? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, can you help me out? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I went over to her place and helped fix her tire, and all that. And I was just like, you're a Christian, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I just gave my life to the Lord. Like, I need to know where to start. And
Yeah.
like, what do I read? Where do I go? Like, what's a good church, And, she said that she goes to Ethos.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent me a YouTube video of Jordan preaching, and you know told me just like starting the Gospels. So I think it was like the end of May. I went to Ethos and sat in the back. Didn't know anybody. I mean, I knew her, but I didn't know that she was there. You know. So I showed up, and Jordan's preaching um, on like an intersection between spirituality and psychology. And I'm like, what?
Oh man,
I'm
God's
like,
funny, bro.
and I'm telling you, like, the amount of like times that God has confirmed and like showed
Mm,
me that I'm not like I wasn't mistaken. Like
mm,
God really did call me,
yeah.
and really did like reach out to me and want me to follow him and like be with him. And
Mm,
for somebody that's like struggled with identity his whole life, with someone that struggled with like love and like addiction, all these like heavy things, like I'm telling you, within like the first 3 or 4 months of following Christ, like I leaned in heavy. And I
mm,
would like encourage anybody that's just like given their life to Christ or is like curious about God in any like capacity,
mm,
read the scripture and don't just read it, like study it.
yeah.
Cause like this is not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but like for the first like few months, maybe 2 or 3 months, I did nothing but like spend like 2 or 3 hours a day in the scripture, learning everything I could about the Lord, about like
Mm,
what he's done for others, like
yeah.
all the stories, all the things. And I stopped taking pills. I threw all my weed out, all my like bongs, pipes, all of it, like threw it in the trash, like quit drinking. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like everything fell off.
Mm,
And I was happy, was fulfilled. And I got introduced to, when I came to Ethos, I, got prayer or like, I went up and received prayer from Weston, and he used to run the, YA, like
yeah.
he was the YA director. So he prayed for me and we got coffee and great dude. Love that guy. He
Weston is a good dude.
yeah, he told me to come to YA. I was like, sure, I'll check it out. And first time we went to YA, it was Jonah was speaking
Mm,
and he was talking about like being honest and being vulnerable with your brothers and sisters, because it's like through confession is the only way that we're gonna be healed.
yeah.
Um, so, dude, I'm brand new, don't know a soul. I sit down at this table with a group of guys, and I'm just like, yo, I do like all the sins.
It's like, yeah,
I'm like
all of them.
all of everything you think about when it just comes to sin, I do it. Like I'm trying, I'm trying, you know,
Oh
and
man.
dude, it was just so funny, like, again, just to see how God works, because Scott was sitting at that table,
Mm,
and he was like, dude, I'm getting ready to start this Bible study group called The Basement,
mm.
and I want you to be in it. And I
Full
was like,
circle.
and it's like, bro. And then I started going to the basement, started growing in my faith, and just like trying to just being faithful.
Mm,
If you're faithful to God, he's already promised to be faithful to you,
mm,
it's like, but like with that reciprocal, he just like blows your mind.
yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
amount that I've changed in, like I said, going on 2 years now is just crazy. Um, so yeah, dude, I mean, now I'm a leader in YA.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like a production leader for Sundays.
What?
Like I'm just like I'm getting
Let's
like God is
go.
opening doors and like just moving me along. And like I said like earlier in my testimony, like I didn't even like see myself or want anything to do with God. And now all my work is like like focused on him, his word,
Mm-hmm.
his like feeding his people, and I'm supposed to start teaching here soon.
Oh man.
And I'm just like, God is amazing, dude. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
never in a million years would I think I'm gonna be teaching at a church. No,
Mm-hmm.
not me. I don't no.
Oh
But just
man.
like, dude, I'm just saying I can't express enough that if you're the least bit curious to God, just pray. Find a quiet spot. Like, just listen. And
Mm,
if you're like really wanting to hear from him, he will meet you where you're at.
yes.
In my darkest point of my life, where everything looked like it was going to be over, he talked to me.
Mm-hmm.
He called me to him, and
Mm-hmm.
my life's never been the same. Like, I'm beyond happy about, like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I'm getting ready. I'm hopefully gonna be going for my master's here soon, so I get
Mm,
licensed to become a counselor. You know, like I said, and just moving up in the church and just focus on him and just being open to whatever it is that he's calling me to do, man. And I promise you, whatever God's plan is for your life, dude, it's gonna be so much more than
mm,
what you can ever
yeah.
imagine. Like
Mm.
I'm overjoyed. Just like, and like, dude, I thank you so much for like bringing me on here and just like
Mm,
giving me the opportunity to talk about my testimony.
mm,
I know I've done it before for YA, but like
yeah.
just sitting down and like writing stuff out, dude, like there was things that I forgot.
Mm,
And it's like when stuff comes up in life, and you're just like, I don't know what to do, dude. Like I'm so
mhm.
like surrounded by fog, like nothing's like clear, like I'm just lost in this
Yeah,
moment and it feels like God's not near. When you're like looking back on everything that he has brought you through already, it's like he'll do it again.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
just like the more you start like remembering all the stuff that he's been faithful through, there's no way that he's not going to be
Yeah,
faithful in the
man.
future, man. He never changes.
No,
And
never.
I don't know, dude.
It's
It's just
so
great.
good. That's amazing, dude. Goodness, dude. Because I have heard your testimony before, and that like it's crazy because you were meant to be on here because I forgot some parts, and I definitely was glad that we got to bring it back up. Because I didn't know a lot of that. Like
Mm,
that was a lot more in depth than because I know YA it's a little bit more time restraint, but
right, right.
man, I mean, it's just crazy to look back and see every single part of your life where God has like had his hand and when we haven't even realized it. Like when you were talking about early on in your life, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, but I don't think this type of evangelism works like at all nowadays. But this like fear mongering of the faith
Yeah.
is just impossible to like get to kids, especially like maybe it worked back then, but like the people that stand outside football games, picket fencing, like turn or burn, like,
Yeah.
you don't turn, like you're going to hell, period. Like, obviously, like scripturally, there's some back into that. But like, if you're trying to truly like not make things legalistic, which is, I feel like a big problem with a lot of church, is that it's so focused on the religious law, like gavel and hammer,
Mm-hmm.
um, part of God. And he is very just, like, and that is God. That is an aspect of the Lord, but
Absolutely.
people miss the relationship, and like going one way or the other fully is not good. Obviously, it's both religious and relationship in the sense of the law is good. There's a reason for it, but God meets people where they're at. And just like you were talking about, like, I don't, I'm not going to make assumptions on anybody else's journey, but from my experience and from what I've seen and heard of people's testimonies, like, God isn't meeting nobody who's going to church every day and like is just seeing this from a religious point of view. And it's very legalistic, very strict. Like, God doesn't come to the clean, like the healthy. Like that's where Matthew, when he meets Matthew for dinner, and like people are like, a lot of people saw the Messiah as this person that was going to come and like basically be like the turn and burn, like, listen, like I'm going to all the sinners and I'm telling them you got to change from your ways or you're going to hell. Like,
Mm,
no, he came and met Matthew, a tax collector, ate dinner with them, and he was like, no, like a physician is for the sick. Like the sick need me. Like the
right.
sick people need to know this. And like I heard this a while ago, but it's like you don't get in the shower when you're already clean. Like,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
you get in the shower because you're dirty. Like
Mm-hmm.
Christ is the ultimate shower. And like you don't need to make yourself up, make yourself look pretty, and then come meet him. Like, no, he'll meet you in your dirt and like he'll pull you from the depths. Like, just like you said, man, he came when you were sitting in that garage smoking a cigarette, like at your lowest point. That is where the Lord is. Like, there's nowhere else to go but to him, and he meets you right in that spot. Man, dude, like, it's just like you saying, man, he meets you exactly where you are, and it's so beautiful to see. I was trying to make like a Stone Cold Steve Austin thing when I was going like, what? I was like expecting you to kind of go, but because I know you like WWE, but the joke didn't hit, so I'm not gonna.
No, it's all good.
But
I just didn't have any more to keep going on.
no, you're good, dude. It's just crazy. I mean, like, look at the abundant blessings like that the
Oh
Lord
yeah,
is just feeding into your life, man. And like you said, like like no matter what it is, like I don't care what nobody says, like this relationship with the Lord, like you got to meet halfway. Like you can't expect God to just like ask and then you do nothing. Like there's action steps and like, and I guess for a lack of a better word, like it takes discipline, it takes surrender, and those are choices, those are verbs, like those are things that you do. And I think a lot of people mistake, thinking that their life is just going to change through a knowledge and a theology of God. Like that's just one aspect. Like you got to dive in, you have to be desiring of that relationship. And through that obedience, like you said, you're rewarded. Like that's scripture as well. So it's just amazing. Like you said, dude, I mean, you're going back to school, you're trying to get your license for counseling. I mean, you're a director of operations at the cafe. Like, I mean, you got a girlfriend now. Let's go. Like, I mean, there's just, God is going to continue to bless you abundantly. And the thing is, though, like, that doesn't mean life is easy. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make is like, and think about Christians as like, okay, you just have grace. Like you just have grace. Like life is easy. You can just do whatever you want. And like,
Yeah.
you're saved by grace. And like, yeah, but like, no, because like God knows the intentions of your heart. Like he knows your deepest desires and like, he knows the truth. Like if you're just coming into this, like thinking that, oh, I can just like, I'm saved by grace, but I don't want a relationship. Like I think a lot of people are afraid of that lifestyle change that comes with being a Christian. Like, when you truly are in relationship with Christ, it's an inward heart change that reflects an external lifestyle change.
Right.
And, I've just seen it in my own walk. Like, I thought I knew Christ. Like, I thought I was a Christian, quote unquote. Like, back in the day, I was going to church and, like, just that kind of mindset of thinking, like it's a checkbox. Like, we've talked about this before, like, thinking it's just something I got to mark off the task list. Like, I went to church, I'm good. Like, no, like, this isn't just religion. Like this isn't something that you just are doing as like strict law. Like, no, like God desires a deep, intimate relationship with you. And when you give into that and you submit to what he has for you and just sit and listen and linger and allow the Lord to just move and work, it's just, it's off to the races. Like it's incredible. And I'm so thankful for you being so vulnerable and open and for God blessing you with that boldness to share every grime, every nitty gritty detail right there, man. It is an honor. And, I hope you know that your faith like is inspiring. And like at the end of the day, whether it's one person or 1,000 people, like a seed will be planted. And even if that's not the case, the whole point of this is for God to get his glory, and he's gotten his glory because of your testimony, man. I mean, I just am so thankful to hear you. And I know that a lot of people, I know it for certain, God is going to use this to plant seeds and then he'll take it from there, brother. So I really appreciate that, man. And is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything else that you'd like to leave people with before we wrap it up?
Yeah. I mean, I think, ultimately, like you said, my prayer going into this was that God get his glory. Because I would definitely not be here if it wasn't for him. But I will say that, if my testimony can be, some kind of heed my warning kind of thing, like your life does not have to hit the pit for you to come to God.
Yeah.
Like your life can be good and still come to God. Like there's just nothing but stuff to gain. Like not physical stuff either. Like your character development, just like you will feel so much more fulfilled, like feeling God's love and like who he is and like what he has for you. I guarantee you every single person listening to this will get nothing but goodness from God.
Yep.
And that's not to say that we won't, following God, everything's going to be, ponies and rainbows. Like it's
Christ
probably,
promised the opposite.
Exactly. It's going to be probably one of the hardest things you ever do, but like he's there. And if you get rooted in community, you have brothers and sisters that are going through probably the same thing that you're going through. But it's like I said before, like I've lived the world. I've lived the drugs, the alcohol, the sex, the parties, all of it. Like there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Like none of that satisfied me. There's always a pit. There's always a hole. And now I am whole because of Christ, because of what he's done and what he's done in me, man. It's
love
just,
that, dude.
So, yeah.
That's so good. Yeah. Just as you said, man, John 16:33, I told you these things so that in me you may find peace. In this world you will face trouble, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. Yeah, I mean, Christ never promised things to be easy for us, but he promised it to be worth it.
Yeah.
And I mean, from our experience
Mhm.
and Desiree's and everyone who has that genuine relationship with the Lord, man, there's nothing more worth it on the planet. Everything else is temporary, but this joy lasts forever. And, um, man, I love it, dude. I love you, brother. I
Yep.
appreciate that so
Absolutely.
much,
Thank
man.
you
Thank you
again.
so much for coming on.
Absolutely, brother.
That's sick. All right. That's it.